everybody, welcome to Leaf Chat.
My name is Shane.
My name's Karen.
In this episode we go through how we interpret a Japanese dash on an imported Nissan LEAF. I don't read Japanese, but somehow we get through it. Welcome to EV for me. As you know, if you watch this channel, you know that this is an imported Nissan LEAF from Japan. And what's our biggest question, Kaz?
Can we live with a Japanese dashboard?
So, let's take a tour of the dashboard right now. If we have a look at this initial screen on the dash, we can see it's pretty much all in English. The gasometer, kilometers per hour in the center, the eco, power, e-pedal off. We got the time up there and the temperature. It's all pretty much English notation. And dialing across to our little music menu, we've got the radio station there, just the normal numbers, but we have got a few Japanese characters underneath. If we go to a compass, normal compass bearings, and the Japanese language down below. If we have a look at our eco menu, we'll see the consumption of the vehicle, 6.6 kilometers per kilowatt hour. That's all English notation, but we see a few Japanese characters there, and mostly English notation down in that sub menu. Pushing across to our information menu, we've got ProPilot, the little radar at the front. This shows any obstructions off to the front, back, the side, all in Japanese notation. More Japanese characters here, and these are overall consumption stats for our battery. Again, the basic notation is in English, but we have a few Japanese characters there as well. The last menu, this is the killer. This is a configuration menu. This configures all the electric vehicle parameters, and it is all in Japanese. So what we found is when we first got the car, we had to use Google Translate to translate some of these Japanese words. And by using Google Translate, you only go into the configuration menu, once every couple of months, just to change something minor or just to set up the car. But Google Translate works quite well when translating these menu items. So it's not really a problem at all that we found, because once you're out of the configuration menu, once you're back to our standard menus, back here, you're pretty well right. Everything is in English notation.
But people want to know, can the dash be converted to English? That's their main concern.
Yes, we can. And it's a fairly cheap process. It costs between $395 and $500. It's a fairly cheap, and it's good value for money, because there's a lot involved in converting a dash from Japanese to English. Basically, the EV workshop has to remove the actual dashboard from the car, and then they take it into their workshop, and then they have to disassemble the dash, and then they have to remove the EEPROM chip. And an EEPROM chip is a small little integrated circuit within the actual dash itself that holds a small repository of memory that just allows the dash to get its configuration files and such forth. That has to be desoldered off the dash itself, off the printed circuit board. And it's a bit messy. There's a little bit of blue conformal coating around that chip. That has to be taken off the board, and then that has to go into a little programmer. The programmer has to reprogram the dash, just change a couple of bytes of data, and then that chip has to go back onto the printed circuit board within the dash, and it has to be soldered back onto the board. And this is where you really need an EV workshop that's really good at micro-soldering. It's a type of soldering that should really be done under a microscope. So once that chip is soldered back onto the board, the dash is reassembled, and then once the dash is reassembled, it is most likely tested to make sure it has gone under the full English conversion. And then if it passes all the tests, basically they get the dash and they reinstall it in the car, power the car up, and your dash is basically converted to English. And for that many hours of work, that $400 to $500 investment is really good value for money. You're getting, bang for your buck here. This is not something you can do in your garage where you're at home or anything like that. There's a bit of micro soldering that has to occur here. You need someone who's a crackerjack micro solderer, and personally I micro solder under the microscope. I don't know if these guys do, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist. No, it's really something that has to happen at the EV workshop. And you got to remember that if you screw this EEPROM chip and your dash isn't functional, your car will not move off the mark. It will not be drivable. So that's why it's better to leave it to the experts in this case.
But what if you're not near a workshop that does the conversions?
Good question. Basically, most of these EV workshops also have a mail-in service, so you can actually take your dash out yourself. There's plenty of videos on YouTube on how to extract a dash out of a ZE1 LEAF, package it up, and then you send it down to the the EV workshop, whether it's in Melbourne or Sydney or whatever. They quickly convert it over within a day or two, and then they send it back to you.
So you don't plan on driving your car while you haven't got your dash?
No, you won't be able to drive your car for a week, because it'll take a couple of days to get down there, a day or two to convert over, and then a day or two to come back, and then you've got to put in the dash yourself. But but that service is available as a mail-in service if you haven't got an EV workshop nearby. So if you want to know where you can actually get your EV dash converted from Japanese to English, we'll leave that in the description down below. If you go to the local Nissan LEAF forums and things like that in Australia and New Zealand, you'll get a rough idea of who can actually convert the dashes and who does a fantastic job of it. So check those forums out.
If you want to follow our adventures, go to our Twitter page, EV for Me Too. Check it out.
Leave your comments down below. Subscribe and hit the bell when you want to know when a new episode is uploaded.
And we will see you next time.
Definitely will. Bye for now.
Bye.
It's a fly. Where is he? Go away, fly.